Every day, over 100,000 tons of glass are produced around the world. In countries like Brazil, annual glass production reaches more than 1.5 million tons. To meet this massive demand, thousands of tons of sand must be processed daily. But how does something as simple as sand become one of the most essential and versatile materials in modern life? Today, we'll take a deep dive into the fascinating process of glass manufacturing. From raw sand to the transparent sheets that surround us, glass is everywhere. In buildings, cars, smartphones, solar panels, and more. Though it appears fragile, glass can be extremely strong, capable of withstanding high temperatures, intense pressure, and even powerful impacts. Because of this strength and durability, glass plays a critical role in architecture, engineering, and technology. It's believed that glass was discovered by accident when ancient people heated sand containing silica with wood ash, rich in sodium carbonate. The mixture melted and, when cooled, formed a glass-like material. The first glass artifacts date back to around 3000 BC, found in Egypt and Mesopotamia. These early pieces were small and decorative, beads, amulets, and containers, usually colorful and opaque. Around 50 BC, Roman glassmakers revolutionized the craft by developing the glass-blowing technique, making it possible to produce larger, thinner, and more complex shapes much faster. Centuries later, the Industrial Revolution introduced machines and modern furnaces, enabling mass production. However, early flat glass was difficult and expensive to produce. It often had to be ground and polished to remove imperfections. Everything changed in the 1950s. In 1952, British engineer Sir Alastair Pilkington invented the float glass process, a technique that allowed molten glass to float on liquid tin, forming a perfectly flat sheet. This method enabled the production of high-quality glass on a large scale, with lower costs and minimal imperfections. Today, the float glass method is used in nearly all modern glass production. What glass is made of? Glass is made from a mix of raw materials, including silica sand, the main component. Sodium carbonate, soda ash, lowers the melting point. Limestone improves chemical durability. Recycled glass, cullet, reduces energy use and improves efficiency. This dry mixture is known as the batch. Silica sand comes from quartz-rich deposits like riverbeds and dunes. Before use, the sand is washed, screened, and purified to remove impurities and ensure consistency. Melting and forming the glass. The batch materials are transported into a giant furnace that can operate continuously for 10 to 15 years without stopping. These furnaces are lined with heat-resistant bricks and can reach temperatures of 1,500 to 1,600 degrees Celsius, 2,730 to 2,910 degrees Fahrenheit. As the batch melts, the ingredients combine into a homogeneous molten glass. Gases are released, and bubbles are removed as the material flows through a hot refining zone to improve clarity and consistency. The float process in action. The molten glass then flows onto a bath of molten tin in a sealed chamber filled with nitrogen and hydrogen gases to prevent oxidation. Because glass is lighter than tin, it floats, spreading into a perfectly flat sheet under its own weight and surface tension. Rollers at the edges help control the thickness and width of the sheet. The result is a continuous ribbon of smooth, clear glass with a flawless finish. Cooling and cutting. After forming, the glass ribbon enters a layer oven for annealing, a slow and controlled cooling process. This step relieves internal stress, making the glass more stable and less likely to crack. The cooled glass exits the oven at room temperature and is moved along conveyor belts to automated cutting stations, where diamond-tipped wheels score the surface with precision. The glass is then broken along the score lines into standard or custom sizes. Any defective glass is recycled, crushed in a cullet, and reintroduced into the beginning of the process, making the production cycle more sustainable. Packaging and distribution. Approved sheets are stacked vertically on sturdy metal racks. They're separated by protective materials to prevent scratches and transported to be packaged and shipped to construction sites, factories, or stores. Artisanal glass production. In addition to industrial methods, glass can also be crafted by hand. In artisanal glassmaking, nearly every step is done manually. Glassmakers use ladles to scoop molten glass from furnaces, often in different colors, and combine them to create custom designs. The molten glass is shaped, pressed, or rolled between metal rollers, and the thickness is adjusted manually. It then undergoes annealing in a smaller furnace, followed by manual cutting using hand tools tipped with diamond or tungsten carbide. Though slower and more labor-intensive, this process allows for creative freedom and the production of unique, artistic pieces. Final thoughts. Glass is one of humanity's most impressive and essential inventions. Its strength, transparency, and versatility make it a cornerstone of modern life, from towering skyscrapers to delicate smartphone screens. Now that you know the journey from sand to glass, you can appreciate the innovation and precision behind this everyday material.